The 2024 season is fast approaching, and while teams are in full-on working mode on their new cars, new F1 regulations are emerging that could potentially change the landscape and bring new levels of excitement to the sport. Not only that, but the driver market will be pure carnage since many drivers' contracts expire at the end of 2024. So what can we expect from this season? Max Verstappen and Red Bull delivered an impressive performance this year, although McLaren and Ferrari made notable improvements to their cars towards the end of the season. In 2024, Alfa Romeo is set to undergo a name change due to the conclusion of their existing sponsorship, rebranding as the Sauber team before transitioning into the Audi team in 2026. Additionally, Red Bull's junior team, AlphaTauri, is changing its name to Racing Bulls, bringing a lot of controversy when it comes to Red Bull's association. While not witnessing significant changes for 2024, the season will establish a new record with 24 races, marking the championship's most extensive year to date. But let's first get into the driver side of things, and we will delve into the new changes later on. Surprisingly enough, no driver left their seat after the 2023 season ended, as each team chose to keep the same driver lineups that competed in the final Grand Prix of 2023. This marks a historic occurrence in Formula 1. However, as numerous contracts are set for renegotiation heading into 2024, the upcoming year promises to bring significant changes, the biggest of which might happen in Red Bull. While Max Verstappen enjoys the security of a contract binding him to Red Bull until the end of the decade, Sergio Perez finds himself in a less comfortable position. Despite securing a 2-year extension around the 2022 Monaco GP, which extends his tenure until the conclusion of 2024, the Mexican driver faces considerable pressure to maintain his spot within the team. Despite achieving a commendable second place in the 2023 Drivers' Championship, concerns linger over Perez's inconsistency and his apparent struggle to fully exploit the potential of the RB19, especially in tighter competition scenarios. The silver lining for Perez lies in the fact that his destiny remains within his control, at least for the time being. With Daniel Ricciardo posing a competitive threat at AlphaTauri, Red Bull has conveyed clear expectations for Perez in the upcoming 2024 season. Should Perez manage to deliver consistent performances and steer clear of complications, he stands a chance at retaining his position as Verstappen's teammate. However, failure to do so might result in the clock ticking down on his Red Bull career. Then we must not ignore the problem in Ferrari, where both Leclerc and Sainz have their contracts ending next season. Leclerc is heading into the final season of his long-term deal with Ferrari, and all signs are there that he will recommit his future to the Scuderia. But there has been speculation from the Italian publication La Gazzetta dello Sport that the Monegasque has already signed a hugely lucrative new 5-year deal, with pay figures speculated as high as 50 million by the final year of that contract. While team boss Fred Vasseur has quelled speculation by saying it isn't a topic that needs discussing yet, Leclerc has laid out his stall. Staying in red forever would be a dream. Driving for Ferrari is the dream of every driver, and I'm living it. Sainz is also heading into his last year with Ferrari, and while the same long-term deal hasn't been mooted as possibility for Sainz, team boss Fred Vasseur has already indicated a desire to see him stay on at the team beyond his current deal. But with Audi being interested in Carlos, who knows what might happen on that front, as certainly his situation could be far more interesting than that of Leclerc. How about Alonso? Experiencing a career resurgence in a way, the Spaniard has entered an Indian summer phase, stepping away from Formula 1 at the close of 2018, only to make a comeback with Alpine in 2021. And although his move to Aston Martin for the 2023 season initially appeared unconventional, Alonso's timing proved impeccable, as the team swiftly ascended the ranks, boasting one of the fastest cars at the beginning of 2023. Despite the ebb and flow of competitiveness throughout the year, both Alonso and Aston Martin expressed mutual satisfaction, with the driver exhibiting a notable absence of the frustrations witnessed in his previous team experiences. Team principal Mike Crack is clear in his desire to keep Alonso beyond 2024. The question now looms: will Fernando commit to an extension, extending his career to nearly 25 years? Alex Albon has revitalized his career with Williams, securing a return to the grid. His impressive performance in 2023, skillfully navigating a relatively uncompetitive car to achieve multiple finishes and points, has undoubtedly elevated Albon's standings. With Williams establishing stability under the leadership of new team boss James Vowles in 2023, the team's trajectory seems to be on an upward trajectory, particularly as Vowles successfully advocated for a capex bonus to invest in team facilities. Assuming Albon maintains his current form in 2024, he is likely to become a priority signing for Williams in the medium-term future. However, could Albon entertain other options when negotiations commence? Another interesting driver whose contract runs out at the end of 2024 is Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo had a remarkable comeback to the Formula One grid in 2023, marking a fairy tale return after what appeared to be a career downturn at the conclusion of the 2022 season, following 2 challenging years at McLaren. Despite facing a potential setback with a broken metacarpal, his performance showcased enough promise to earn him a seat with the sister team for 2024, inadvertently creating a compelling dynamic that could spur Sergio Perez to up his game. Enjoying a year in familiar surroundings, Ricciardo has the opportunity to reignite the spark of his once red-hot career, expressing a clear desire to conclude his racing journey with Red Bull Racing. However, the pivotal question remains: will he demonstrate enough prowess to secure the coveted cockpit? For now, his primary focus is on delivering sufficiently to maintain his position with AlphaTauri. These are just some of the drivers whose contracts run out in 2024. In total, 14 drivers will need to either extend their contracts or leave their teams, which is setting the stage for a very interesting silly season this summer. Now let's take a look at some primary new rules that have the potential to bring about some massive changes and shifts. The first notable change pertains to Pirelli's testing requirements. At the behest of Pirelli, the upcoming year will witness an extension in the days dedicated to collecting data for tyre development, increasing the current 35 to 40 days. This adjustment aims to address driver complaints about issues with wet tyres. In response, an additional 4 test days will be allocated, during which teams will exclusively use full wet and intermediate tyres, focusing on improving the driving experience in wet conditions. Additionally, ongoing efforts to enhance driver visibility include the development of splash guards. The initial trial at Silverstone in July did not meet expectations, prompting a second attempt in May with a completely new design. Based on feedback, the FIA will decide whether to introduce anti-spray devices in 2025 or potentially delay implementation until 2026, coinciding with new regulations set to take effect. This strategic approach aims to address concerns and make informed decisions based on the performance of the updated design. Looking ahead to the 2026 season, a significant decision has been made. The development of the 2026 car cannot commence until the beginning of 2025. This means that physically, the car cannot start production until the year preceding its implementation. And despite existing prototype work on computers using simulators, hands-on production is delayed to ensure a synchronized and well-prepared introduction of the new car. While the proposed changes are not yet finalized, ongoing discussions with the FIA are expected to continue into January, and potential changes being considered include a comprehensive overhaul of the weekend timetable or the introduction of a reverse grid format. In the 2023 season, the 6 sprint weekends already experienced some modifications, notably with the race having a separate qualifying session that no longer determines the grid for the Grand Prix. Additionally, the separation of the Grand Prix and qualifying places teams under Parc Fermé rules from FP1 onwards. Discussions between Formula One and the teams are currently underway to finalize a format overhaul for the 2024 season. One proposal suggests moving qualifying for the Grand Prix back to the afternoon, with the sprint race taking place in the morning. The sprint shootout qualifying, determining the sprint race grid, would be scheduled for Friday after FP1. This potential change could reopen Parc Fermé conditions after the sprint race, allowing teams to make necessary adjustments before qualifying. We are hopefully in for an amazing F1 season, so let us know your expectations for it. Which driver might lose his seat? Which team will compete with Red Bull for the top? Thank you for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.